What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Figuring It Out Finance podcast. My name is Chris Rickenbaugh, and I have a great episode for you discussing one of the mentorship groups that I've joined here in the past about 6 months. I'm going to be breaking that down for you, what I've been learning. And just so you know, this podcast is a personal documentation of my journey in real estate and business. And I also talk a little bit about travel hacking and personal finance. You can find me everywhere on figuringitoutfinance.com, where you're going to have links to everywhere where you can listen to the podcast, as well as Instagram and TikTok, where you can stay up to date daily on what I am doing in my business, tips that I've learned, and, just all of the action that's going on my flip. So really exciting news, under contract on 2 flip opportunities here just in the last 2 days. So really excited for those, getting started, and then just getting to the closing table. Shouldn't have any crazy surprises. We'll have to go through another eviction, hopefully not the whole process this time. And then the other one is going to be working with a different company. So we're going to be able to, go through that process and hopefully build that relationship and have, just a lot of tools in our tool belt to see, when different opportunities come up. So today this whole episode is going to be breaking down what I've learned in Deal Flow Academy. So if you're not sure what Deal Flow Academy is, it's run by Cam Cathcart, who co-hosts the podcast with Brandon Turner. Cam, I was able to be lucky enough to meet him and his wife out in Hawaii. He was able to give me really good recommendations for beaches, to where I ended up proposing out there as well, and we were able to go to dinner the night after. But him and his wife both flip quite a few homes a year, close to 100 homes a year. And they've been doing that for about the past 5 or 6 years. And Cam started this Deal Flow Academy, to where he wants to go and teach first timers how to do this too. And kind of how I got into that group to begin with is, I had been listening to the podcast, and, I listened to Cam and Lexi's story on the Better Life podcast with Brandon Turner. And, it just felt like their story really resonated with me because, I didn't have that same situation that they had, but I could feel the mindset to where, I felt like I had nothing to lose. I'm young, I can figure it out. And when I figure it out, we're going to be in a really, really good position down the road here. And being able to do it so young just, puts that timeline in a completely, different way. So, being able to do it a little bit younger, feel some of those same things, and just being able to take action. So, when Cam started Deal Flow Academy, I had heard about it because I had been following him. But what really dragged me over and was like, yes, I need this, was when I did my first flip, it went very, very clean. We raised the money for it. The flip went off without a hitch. 12 days they were in and out, and really only 4 extra days was because I needed to do the landscaping. So being able to do that, we got it under contract within 2 or 3 days and got that thing sold. And at the end, I'm like, this is awesome. Like, I'm going to make a pretty good profit here. And then when I got the money back, I'm like, where is this extra $15,000 that I, was expecting? So that's when I listened to Cam and Brandon. They came out with 4 videos just kind of breaking down what Deal Flow was. And they ran through the formula that Cam uses to be able to buy houses. And so I ran the house through that formula, and I found exactly where that extra $15,000 was supposed to be. And it was supposed to be buying it $15,000 lower. So we had all the numbers there, all of the renovation, and then it's like, okay, well, that's where my spread is. I obviously need to be, learning from this from Cam. So that's when I booked a call with Deal Flow, and then got set up in that community. So I've been in that community for about 6 months now, and I wanted to break down, what I've been learning in that group, because I think this could help anybody in flipping houses if you're interested in it, or building wholesale, or just building a better life for yourself in general, and really taking it into your own hands rather than working a normal W-2 job. Because there's very simple things, and there are some technical, things you have to learn in there as well. And his videos do a great job of breaking that down, especially for newbies. And it's mostly about doing the work. And that's what I've been really stuck on for this, past probably like 3 to 4 months, because I had been in the business for probably, 3, 4, 5 months before that. I had been in it, making calls, trying to do it and trying to figure out a lane. And then this really helped me narrow down. It's like, okay, this is what I have to do. I have a little bit of a head start to where I've started to learn things. And now it really nailed down and solidified what I knew and what I needed to really work on. So I'm going to start with that. So there's a lot of really great one-on-one time with the coaches. So, throughout the calls, there's normally not a huge amount of people. I think they break up this different groups, but I think the largest group that we're in on a weekly call is about 30, and that's with Cam. And, during these calls, there's no questions that are dumb questions. Even the simple ones for newbies, it's really easy to be able to hop on a call and say, hey, I'm trying to run this deal. I'm trying to understand it. It's like, okay, well, let's pull up the address. Let's run through it. And we do that. And that's really beneficial for everybody, because then we can see exactly how Cam is doing that. Because if they're doing 100 a year, you have to get a lot of reps. And that's really what it's all about. And they're just willing to take that time and answer those questions for you. So breaking down those individual deals, you kind of see how they're doing it, where they're looking, and exactly what they're looking for. And they do a great job explaining that in the videos as well. But the one-on-one time with the coaches, they've been doing this for a while. So whether it's Cam coaching or doing about 100 houses a year, or the other coaches in their specific areas, to where, they can just offer a different perspective on it. And I've really enjoyed being able to get that different perspective, because, one call we're talking about medium-term rentals, which my house is about to turn into, and then being able to say, okay, well, how are you looking at these? How are you looking at buying them? And we were able to run through that for about 45 minutes in a call. And it was really, really cool to get that information, and just being able to look at it in a different way than I had been. And then one of the other coaches, doing a ton of flips, doing a lot of long distance investing. So being able to, pick her brain on, what is something that, as we do more deals and get a lot more opportunities, say we have multiple flips going on, it's like, how am I going to manage these? How am I not going to miss these little things throughout this, process of flipping a house? And that's where she really helped me with implementing Asana. So she was able to say, break down what she does, how she does it, and then go through that entire checklist and, be able to kind of send us a template on how she does it. And then, it's not like written in stone. You can obviously adjust and add or take out whatever you need, because your process is probably going to look a little bit different than theirs. And each house is going to be a little bit different, but there's a lot of those core little things that you just don't think about, like putting lock boxes on the house, grabbing the keys, that's easy to forget. Being able to book a dumpster, turn on all the utilities, and being able to just have that checklist right in front of you and be able to check it off as as soon as you close on the house. Being sure you have all the money, all the insurance lined up, everything is good on the HUD, and you're able to close on that property. What you're doing after with the utilities, the dumpster, and then your scope of work for the contractor, being able to get them in there all the way through selling the property, and just being able to have that checklist is probably the most important thing. And I'm implementing that in the next 3. I haven't done that yet. I've just kind of set it up to see, how it's going to work. So my next flips here from here forward is going to be all documented through Asana and the project management. And we're just going to kind of adjust from there, hoping it gets us all on the same page. So super excited. And that's probably one of the biggest things that I've really taken from this. And I would say the biggest thing is the mindset, being able to listen to Cam and these other coaches, how they're thinking about deals and how they're, just thinking bigger. That's what I'm really taking from it, because I wanted to be able to be around people that are doing it at a high level, and because that's going to raise me up to their standard. So, if my goal was to flip 3 properties, I'm going to attack that differently than if I was trying to take down 50. So that's something I also learned from 10x is easier than 2x. And so I'm trying to set up my systems bigger than actually what I'm going to be having in my portfolio and what's going on at a certain time. So learning from the people that have gone through these mistakes and can coach you through it, you haven't felt the pain that they've gone through in the learning, but you're being able to say, hey, or I think the best one was Cam talking about using private money or using their own money for flips. And that was something me and my partner had a direct conversation on, because we're saying, well, we just need to flip a bunch of properties, and then we're going to have our own money to invest in flips. And then Cam, he went through that same process to where that's what him and his wife did. And they're looking around like, okay, well, where's our money? And it's like, it's all invested in these properties and in these flips. And that's something I can take back to my partner and say, hey, I know this is the idea now, but what happens when we start having money and we go buy a couple flips? It's like, we're not going to have anything. So it's actually going to be cheaper in the long run from somebody who's doing this at a higher volume to be able to, have that experience and say, hey, this sounds really good in the beginning, but when you get to this level, and you start doing that, here's a problem you're going to run into. So it's like just a couple steps ahead and being able to, root out those problems before they even happen. So putting you on a different track. So the main part of Deal Flow Academy, it's mainly wholesaling and flipping. That's what Cam does. And, they have tons and tons of training videos, walkthroughs, how to find a deal, basically from beginning to end. And it's really, really good. So if anybody's looking to get into that, I highly recommend Deal Flow Academy for other people looking to get into flipping and just looking to have a better life for themselves and in control. So that's about all I got for this podcast. Super, super busy day for me. It's going to get a little bit busier as we're kicking up everything a notch on our business. And I think these project management tools and having these coaches and this mentorship group is going to be able to really come in handy when we start picking up the pace here. So hopefully that's soon. And I'll make sure to hop back on, once I've been through about the next 6 months and be able to talk about my whole year in deal flow and, be able to show the results. So I think we've closed, let's see, we got 2 more under contract. We closed on 4 properties being in the Deal Flow Academy for 6 months. So that's a pretty good stat. Hopefully we can add 6 here really soon. But that's about all I got for today's podcast. I really appreciate you tuning in. And like I said before, you can check out figuringitoutfinance.com, where you're going to have all the links to everywhere you listen to podcasts, whether that's YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or Podbean. And then if you're a normal listener or in the Charlotte area, go ahead and click. Or if you're a flipping in the Charlotte area, join my buyers list, because we're going to be sending out a lot of wholesale opportunities and being able to, get them off our plate. So if you're looking to flip in this area, go ahead and sign up for that, and go ahead and follow me on TikTok and Instagram, where I post daily about what I'm doing, tips and tricks I'm learning, or just walkthroughs of the flip. So that's all for episode 103 of the Figuring It Out Finance podcast. My name is Chris Rickenbaugh, and I will see you on the next one.